All right, there. Yay, got the notification I went live. All right. Well, welcome back, everybody. It's Mr. G. Coming to you live again on kind of sunny Tuesday afternoon of April 14th. Glad you can make it. Hopefully everyone got the link to the video as I continue posting it on the teacher page, on Facebook, and of course on Dojo. And if you're not checking Dojo on a regular basis, I would highly recommend that you do so in the coming days, as Dojo is going to be the main platform I'm going to use when we start doing our distance learning. I know our superintendent, Mark Haig, sent a message out to at least us, the staff. I'm pretty sure that you families also got an email, a text message, and a phone call about that. Teachers would start be reaching out to you guys soon about what distance learning is going to look like for your student. I could tell you that a plan is coming together for us at Haviland. I know I kind of explained on the end of the video yesterday of where my ideas were going forward with what that'll be. But if you're looking for resources or mini videos of me doing like a mini lesson, they're going to be posted on Dojo. So any resource that I want my students to go use, or a concept that I might teach in a short, like 8-minute video, you'll find it on Class Dojo. So if you're not hooked into my dojo, you need to get hooked. You need to get logged in and hooked in there as soon as possible. And if you haven't checked it in a bit, you might want to make a habit of try to check it every day, as I will, starting next Monday, April 20th, that'll be when I'll start doing the distance learning. I will post my schedule of when I will be available to communicate with students and families. If you guys need help with something, if you guys are stuck on the materials that I'm assigning, I would be available at that time to be able to assist you as best as I can, virtually, of course, to be able to navigate this. And as I've been saying in all my videos so far, this is going to be new for everybody. Patience is going to be required with all parties involved, as this is not going to be a perfectly running system right out of the get-go. There's going to be hiccups. Some people are going to get it faster than others, and that's okay. We're all in this together. We will get this worked out, and we will make this 7 to 8 weeks of distance learning the best that we can, because it's going to be new for everybody. It's a new frontier, everybody. So that'll be kind of my 2 cents on that. Again, if you guys have any specific questions, I know some families have reached out to me, whether it's messaging me privately on Dojo or messaging me privately on my teacher page on Facebook, or even emailing me. Please do so. I will try to answer any questions or address any concerns the best that I can. And again, just know that, this is new frontier. It's new for families, it's new for students, it's new for teachers, and it's new for school administration. None of us could have foreseen that, we would have to figure out a way to do education during a pandemic when everyone's on lockdown. So we're kind of having to create the playbook, the rule book, and the playbook and the plan as we go. So this will evolve. If there are things that I need to fix, I will fix it in the moment. And like I said, patience will be key for everybody. Now, we'll get to the thing that you all really came here for, our read aloud. So we kind of left the gang escaping a diner on snowmobiles because Ben ran into his old nemesis, Murray Hill. Murray is no longer working for Spider. He says he is an independent freelance evil agent. Says that there's more money in that. Plus, since Spider made him the patsy, the fall man, to take the fall for what happened at Evil Spy School, he doesn't really want to work for an agency that doesn't value him and wants to use him as an expendable pawn. So he's working for Liu Shang. He actually came up with this plan for Liu Shang to take this special mine in Colorado, the Doldenum mine, because it is one of two areas in the world that produces the Doldenum mineral in large quantities. Liu Shang owns the other one in China. Liu Shang wants to use a nuclear missile to irradiate the mine here in America. So his mine in China is the sole producer of the material in the world. So he'll corner the market, as it were. It's a rare mineral, very valuable, but it's even more valuable if Liu Shang controls the only supply. As we learn in a little mini history lesson from Mike looking up the information about this element online, he said that it's used to make steel stronger and metal stronger. So it's a very valuable item, whether it's for building materials to build big buildings or for weapons manufacturing. And we left with the gang getting away from Murray and Liu Shang's thugs, Dang Bramage being among them. That guy is tough to kill, as Zoe said, that, what is it going to take? Because this guy just keeps coming. And we left with the gang, as I said, zipping away on snowmobiles, getting away from everybody. So we're going to pick up with Chapter 21, Evasive Action. The car tank sped across the parking lot after us. Whoever was driving didn't even bother to swerving around the parked cars. He plowed straight into them, sending them skidding wildly across the icy lot. Luckily for us, however, the town was built more for snowmobiles than for cars. At the edge of the parking lot, the asphalt ended, but a track across the snow continued on toward the mountains. Ahead of us, my friends veered onto it, though Mike and I still had a few yards to go. The car tank sped up behind us. More cars were crumpled as it bore down, aiming to turn us into roadkill. Mike gunned the engine as we hit the snowy track, leaving the parking lot behind. The car tank tried to follow us. It lunged a dozen yards into the snow, almost catching our snowmobile before sinking helplessly up to its headlights. Ha! Mike yelled back as we raced away. Sucks to be you. Mike hadn't ever gone to spy school, so he hadn't known that the Toomey's rule of premature gloating. Never taunt the bad guy until you are sure the chase is over. Because it probably isn't. Dane Bramage shot around the car tank on a snowmobile. One of the other goons had given him a submachine gun. Uh-oh, Mike said. Now what? Let's lose him, I suggested. I'm doing my best. Mike gave the snowmobile everything he could. We churned along the snowy track. I had never been on a snowmobile before. In addition to being incredibly loud and vibrating like a blender set too high, it had no seatbelts. All I could do was wrap my arms as tightly as possible around Mike's chest and hope we didn't fall off. This made it hard for me to see what was going on ahead of us, though my friends seemed to be faring all right. Zoe and Warren were in the lead. Next came Woodchuck, who had to drive with Erica in his lap, propping her up between his arms. Somehow, despite being all on a noisy, rattling snowmobile, Erica still lay unconscious. How'd you get away back at the restaurant? I asked Mike. I had to yell at the top of my lungs so he could hear me over the snowmobile's engine, even though we were only inches apart. I went to call my uncle, he yelled back. I wanted to tell him I was okay. When I come back, everyone was gone. I thought y'all ditched me until I saw y'all were out in the parking lot. Who was that kid with the gun? Murray Hill. He's my nemesis. You're only 13 and you already have a nemesis? That's kind of awesome. How'd you get the keys to the snowmobiles? Did you steal them? No, Mike sounded offended. I'm not a thief. I asked the other diners for them. And they just gave their keys to you? I told them it was an emergency. They were all super nice. Of course, I didn't realize we'd be getting chased like this. Shots rang out, bullets plunged the snow around us. Or shot at, Mike added. Dane Bramage was gaining ground on us, and behind him, Shang's men had commandeered some other snowmobiles. I presume they had simply stolen theirs rather than asking for them nicely. We reached the edge of the town. The track we were following veered into the forest of aspen trees, and we all followed it. I heard everything you said back there, Mike yelled, about the nuclear bomb and all. What's your plan for dealing with that? Er, I haven't really worked things out past get away from the bad guys. You haven't? I was really hoping Erica would come around by now. She's better at this stuff than I am. A creek came up so suddenly that we didn't even see it until we were soaring over it. We barely made it to the far bank, landing so hard I nearly bounced off of the snowmobile. So, Mike said a little awkwardly, are you still really into Erica, or is it okay if I ask her out? You want to talk about this now? I was just wondering, because I definitely got a good vibe from her the other day, and she seems pretty amazing. And if you're still into her, I'll back off. Normally, I would never have admitted to having a crush on a girl in front of Mike. It was way too embarrassing, but at the moment, denying it seemed pointless. I'm still into her. There was a moment of hesitation before Mike asked, really? Yes. Okay, just making sure. Are there a lot of other girls at this spy school like her? Well, there's plenty of other girls, but there's only one like Erica. But there's no one like Erica. We shot out of the aspen trees and onto a wide open plain of snow. It seemed surprisingly flat to me, and then to my dismay, I realized why. I glanced down at the snow beneath us and saw something bluish glimmering beneath it. Mike, we're not on land anymore. What? We're on a lake. Mike glanced down and then said, oh, nuts. A loud crack rang out. For a second, I feared it was a gunshot, but it turned out to be something even worse. The ice was now breaking. Ahead of us, Zoe and Warren's snowmobile suddenly pitched forward as a large section of ice sank beneath it. Both of them were thrown off. They slid across the frozen lake like hockey pucks while their snowmobile toppled onto its side, cracking the ice even more. Woodchuck was too close behind to avoid it. Instead, he bailed out, taking Erica with him. His snowmobile slammed into Zoe's so hard it flipped into the air and then smashed down, embedding itself nose first into the ice. A web of cracks quickly spread from the wreckage, fracturing the lake surface like a window beamed by a baseball. Bits of ice broke free and sank, revealing the frigid black water beneath it. Mike veered away, avoiding the worst of this, but the ice was disintegrating beneath our treads as we went. We raced across the lake, hoping it would stay solid long enough for us to reach the far side. Zoe and Warren had slid to the far side of the lake. They were far enough from the break that the ice was still sturdy enough to hold them. Now that they scurried across it to the shore. Woodchuck wasn't so lucky. He was much bigger than them, and he was carrying Erica's weight as well. He was doing his best to run with her, but the ice was coming apart under his feet. They're not going to make it, I yelled. Mike instantly angled toward them, even though this put our own safety at risk. Woodchuck saw us coming and sprinted our way. The ice groaned and shifted beneath the upended snowmobiles. They began to sink, gasoline forming a slick in the dark water around them. The cracks in the ice widened and lengthened. We were only a few feet away from Woodchuck when the surface beneath him heaved. With what seemed to be the last of his strength, he flung Erica toward us. Mike slowed down so I could catch her. It's not easy to catch a teenage girl from a moving snowmobile on top of a disintegrating ice sheet. At spy school, they tried to prepare us for all sorts of dangerous scenarios. Yet, I don't think anyone had ever even thought of this one. It was probably a blessing that I only had about half of a second to prepare for it. Otherwise, I might have started obsessing about the thousands of things that could go wrong. But in a few moments we had, I simply reacted, making some quick mental calculations about her trajectory, reaching out as we skidded across the ice and doing my best to snag the flying unconscious girl. Probably didn't look very suave or debonair while I did it, but I got my arms around her torso and managed not to have her sudden weight knock me off of the snowmobile. Then I clung to her as tightly as I could, although her legs still dangled limply off to the side. Go! Woodchuck yelled. Now! Then the ice beneath his feet gave way and he plunged into the freezing water. Mike gunned the engine, but didn't go anywhere. We gained weight and lost momentum. The treads on our snowmobile simply spun uselessly on the breaking ice. As if that wasn't bad enough, Dane Bramage now arrived. He roared onto the ice, saw the wreckage in the middle, and skidded to a stop. Then he whipped out his gun and took aim at us. For a horrifying moment, we were right in his sights. At the last moment, our treads caught. Our snowmobile leapt forward and rocketed across the lake. Dane's bullets pinged off of the ice right where we had just been. Can you do something about him? Mike screamed at me. Shoot him before he shoots us? I'm not very good at guns. With guns, I pointed out. Well, try anyhow. He's a big target. I pulled out the gun I had taken from Murray. Even though Dane was about as big as a human being's got, I knew there was still relatively little chance I could hit him all the way across the lake. But then I realized there was a closer target that was a lot bigger. Zoe and Warren's snowmobile had almost sunk by now, disappearing beneath the water's surface, but Woodchuck's was still sticking up like a tombstone. I blasted away at it until I emptied the clip. The last bullet actually found its target. It sparked off of a metal runner, ignited the gasoline slicked on the water. Then the frozen lake instantly caught fire. Flames erupted, creating a haze of smoke that hit us from Dane Bramage. Then the snowmobile exploded. A heat wave rolled over us, briefly making the blustery day feel like summer. Burning pieces of metal flew through the air and clattered across the lake. The frozen surface of the lake shuddered and tore apart. Cracks shot across it like lightning bolts, carving it into pieces. Zoe and Warren had reached solid ground. Woodchuck, being the master of survival, was swimming through the frigid water. He didn't look happy about it, but he seemed to be okay. Mike, Erica, and I had made it to the shallower section of the lake just as the ice collapsed around us. Our snowmobile sank, but went only a foot before hitting the bottom. The water lapped at the toes of our ski boots and billowed into clouds of steam around the engine. Dane Bramage wasn't so lucky. He was a big guy, and he stopped dead on the ice. He desperately gunned his snowmobile engine, but before he could get going, the surface split beneath him, and he dropped through it, disappearing so fast it was almost like the lake had swallowed him. I kept staring at the water, as though expecting Dane to resurface, stubbornly remaining alive yet again. Nice thinking, Erica said. I looked down at her in my arms and saw her eyes were open. You're conscious. Wow, your powers of observation are as keen as ever, Erica said. Good to see your sarcasm is already fully functional, I replied. Erica gave me what looked like an extremely fleeting smile, then hopped off the partially sunken snowmobile and started through the ankle-deep water to the shore. What's our situation? Mike and I scrambled after her. The icy water seeped into our ski boots, chilling our toes. Normally this would have been awful, but my feet were already in such pain after the hike so far in ski boots that the numbing cold was actually kind of a relief. Dane's underwater, I said, but I wouldn't count him dead just yet. Me neither, Erica agreed. That guy's tougher to kill than Rasputin. Where are the other bad guys? There was a roar of snowmobile engines on the far side of the lake. Right there, Mike said. Shang's remaining men parked their snowmobiles on the opposite shore. The lake between us was no longer frozen, but they could still shoot across it. We scrambled to some larger rocks at the shoreline and hunkered down behind them as the bad guys opened fire. I took in our surroundings. Except for the rocks that we were hiding behind, there was little cover on our side of the lake. Our snowmobiles were useless, and our only gun had no bullets left. Plus, Woodchuck was still out in the water. He was nearing the shore now, but the cold was taking its toll. Every stroke he took appeared to be a Herculean effort for him. The situation looks pretty dire, I told Erica. Maybe not, she replied. Listen. It was hard to hear much of anything over the sound of the bullets sparking off of the rocks in front of us, but when I focused, I could hear the distant whirring noise. What's that? Mike asked. The cavalry is coming, Erica replied. I didn't have a whole lot of time to talk to Grandpa before Maury chloroformed me, but I at least told him that we needed a rescue. She tapped the avalanche vest she was wearing, and this is giving him our exact coordinates. A military helicopter raced around the bend in the river, keeping low to the ground. Cyrus was at the controls. Alexander sat behind him, manning the machine gun mounted in the chopper's nose. He opened fire on Shang's men, who quickly aborted their mission and fled into the cover of the woods. Alexander blasted away at them as they ran, shredding the trees and blowing bushes apart, keeping them in the retreat. Cyrus then landed the copter by the side of the lake. The wind from the rotors whipped up a snow tornado and pelted us with bits of ice. Woodchuck finally reached the shallow water, but he was in bad shape. His skin was turning blue from the cold, and he was shivering uncontrollably. Alexander leapt from the helicopter, ran to him, and helped him to his feet. Mike and I helped drag him toward the copter. Water poured from Woodchuck's clothes onto us. We boosted him into the helicopter. Zoe and Erica were already inside, armed with emergency blankets and heating pads. They immediately stripped off Woodchuck's wet clothes and swaddled him in the warmth. Warren sat to the side and tore into a box of emergency rations. I found candy, he explained. Ooh, and it's chocolate. Mike and I clambered into the helicopter with Alexander. Looks like you finally got yourselves a chopper, I said. Yes, Alexander agreed, sliding the door shut. We borrowed it from the Cheyenne Mountain Complex. Now that Shang's men were in the cover of the trees, they were taking pot shots at us. A few pocked the metal hull of the helicopter. Cyrus pulled back on the control stick, and we rose into the air before the enemy could do any more damage. Any chance you figured out what Shang's plan is? He asked us. He's planted a nuclear bomb, I said. He wants to irradiate the Climax mine so he can corner the molybdenum market. Hey, Alexander cried. That's sort of the plot from Goldfinger. Yeah, I agreed. Murray stole it. It's still dangerous, Erica said solemnly. A nuke in this area could kill thousands of people or irradiate millions 340 feet above. On the right wall were the sliding door, a winch, and a tether for lowering people down or hauling them back up. Erica, Zoe, Warren, Mike, and I were belted into the jump seats. Cyrus and Alexander were in the cockpit. Several pairs of skis and poles were piled at our feet. It looked as though Cyrus and Alexander had looted them from the ski rental. Now Cyrus hovered over the runway, pointed toward Leo Shang's jet, and ordered Alexander, take that out. Shoot the wings so it can't fly. Alexander said uncomfortably, I can't. Why not? Cyrus asked. I used all the bullets back at the lake. What? You didn't save any for emergencies? I thought the gunfight at the lake was an emergency, Alexander explained. I didn't realize there might be two emergencies today. I've told you once and I've told you 1,000 times, Cyrus growled. Always keep some spare bullets. But you never learn, do you? You can't do anything right. After days of being berated, Alexander finally cracked and stood up to his father. Oh, that is so like you, he snapped. No, but the moment I make one tiny mistake, I hear plenty. This wasn't a tiny mistake. Would it kill you to say something nice to me just once in my life? You know what will kill me? The nuclear bomb, which is going to go off if we don't catch Shang and find out where it is. While they bickered, Shang's caravan raced onto the tarmac below us. Erica unbuckled herself and went to the winch by the door and grabbed a tether that hung from it. It was a large rope with a thick loop at the end, easily big enough to get around her torso. Whoa there, young woman, Alexander warned. Where do you think you're going? I'm going to rappel down on the tarmac and stop Shang, Erica said matter of factly. Oh, no, you're not, Alexander told her. It's way too dangerous. Well, we have to do something, Erica shot back. Not that, Cyrus joined in. You have been rendered unconscious once already today. And that was the second time this week. I'm worried about your brain. You were the one who knocked me unconscious the first time, Erica pointed out. And now you're worried about me? Shang's going to get away. She reached for the door handle. Do not touch that door, Alexander warned. If you rappel out of this copter, you're grounded. I'm not sneaking out after curfew, Erica protested. I'm trying to prevent a nuclear annihilation. And if I don't stop the Shangs, who will? Me, Alexander said. Oh, please, Erica sighed. You couldn't stop a car if your foot was on the brake. Shang's men opened fire on us. Erica hit the deck as the bullets tore through the door of the helicopter. Others webbed the cockpit windows, forcing Cyrus to take evasive action. Warren dropped to the floor of the helicopter and curled up into a ball. They're shooting at us, he cried. He seemed to have recovered from his knock on the head. Rather than being loopy, he was back to his normal Weasley self. Make them stop! I'm too young to die! The helicopter swiveled wildly as Cyrus tried to avoid the enemy fire. The spare skis and bulls skidded around the cargo bay, clanging off of the sides. Mike looked at me concerned. Does this sort of stuff happen to you a lot? No, this is my first helicopter gunfight, I admitted, but you could probably trust Cyrus. We could probably trust Cyrus to handle it. Below us, the caravan was racing toward the tarmac, toward the jet. The Shanks car was obviously the one in the center. It was the only one without people shooting at us from it. Rappelling out of the helicopter was now impossible, and the Hale family was arguing about what to do next. It was becoming extremely evident why Erica always claimed getting emotionally involved could mess up a mission. The Hale family dynamics were so messed up, it seemed unlikely that they would ever agree on a plan of action. But then something occurred to me. If emotions could mess up our mission, then they could mess up Leo's mission as well. The last time I had seen Jessica, she'd been furious at her father. I figured that since he was ending her vacation abruptly, she was probably was now even angrier. Given the number of text messages she sent me, it seemed she wanted to talk. So I dug out my phone and dialed her. I wasn't sure she'd answer, given that there was a gunfight going on, but she picked up on the third ring and sounded even more excited to talk than I expected. Ben, I've been hoping you'd call. Really? I asked. Yes! You really freaked me out when you didn't answer any of my texts. I thought you were mad at me or something. No, I can understand why you'd be upset after the way my father treated you. Sorry he was such a jerk. He's being a total nightmare to me, too. He's got some rival businessman angry at us, so we have to leave Colorado right now. The people in the helicopter aren't rival businessmen, I said, trying to get a word in edgewise. Jessica actually stopped speaking for a second. Then she asked, How do you know about the helicopter? Because I'm in it, I told her. Below us, the caravan parked by the jet. Guards leapt out to form a gauntlet for the Shangs to pass down. They kept shooting at us, forcing Cyrus to continue our evasive action. Over the phone, I could hear Leo saying, Jessica, this is no time to be on the phone. Hang up and follow me. Jessica ignored him and asked me, Why are you in the helicopter? I'm a junior CIA agent, and your father's been lying to you. He's not really a businessman. He's a criminal. That's not funny, Ben. I know. It's all incredibly serious. Your father didn't bring you here just to ski. You're right about that. He brought you here to plan a crime, a big one. Jessica, Leo Shang was saying, get off the phone now. Only Jessica didn't get off the phone. She didn't get out of the car. Because, like Erica, she didn't always listen to her father, especially when she was angry at him. What are you talking about? She asked me. If we don't stop your father right now, he's going to set off a nuclear bomb in Colorado. He's doing it to corner the molybdenum market. Molybdenum has a market? No, molybdenum. It, molybdenum. It's an element used to making weapons, and your father do something like that. He wouldn't kill people. He's having his men try to kill us right now. They're shooting at us. Maybe he's trying to frighten you off. No, he's been trying to kill me all morning. He sent Dane Bramage to do it. I could see Liu Shang was now on the tarmac. Daddy? Leo didn't answer right away, but when he did answer, it wasn't very convincing. What kind of question is that? Of course I didn't tell Dane to do such a thing. Then where's Dane? Jessica asked suspiciously. He's getting some snacks for the plane trip. Jessica didn't buy this for a second. Oh my God, she gasped. You tried to kill my friend. That is so uncool. Jessica, Leo said, we need to get on the jet now. I'm not going anywhere with you, she screamed. You're the worst father ever. You don't understand what's going on here, he yelled. Now get out of the car this instant. Or what? Jessica yelled back. You're going to kill me too? On the tarmac, the gauntlet of guards now looked a bit confused about what was going on. Liu Shang climbed back into the car to deal with Jessica. You are my daughter, and I demand respect. Now you are coming with me. The sounds of a scuffle soon followed. I heard Jessica scream, Let go of me! And then there was a yelp of pain from Liu Shang. The door on the far side of the car had opened, and Jessica leapt out and ran across the tarmac, heading away from the jet. Shang leapt after her, and he was hobbling like he had been kicked hard in the shin. Jessica! He yelled, only it didn't sound angry anymore. He sounded panicked, like a worried father. He might have been upset at his daughter, but he wasn't about to leave her behind to die. Get back here! She kept going, though, so Shang turned to his guards and pointed after her. The guards obeyed. They all chased after Jessica. She gave them a good run for their money, scrambling like a wide receiver, forcing the guards to spread out across the tarmac, which meant no one was shooting at us anymore. Erica quickly leapt back to her feet through the helicopter door. Erica! Alexander yelled. I thought I told you that's too dangerous. Yes, you did, she admitted, but I'm doing it anyway. Before Alexander or Cyrus could say a word, Cyrus muttered. Then, since he knew he couldn't get Erica back into the copter, he maneuvered over to the jet. Erica rappelled to the ground beside it. I stuck the radio transmitter into my ear once again, then listened as Erica slipped into the jet and took care of Shang's pilot. There was some shouting in Chinese, followed by the sounds of a brief fight, followed by some more shouting in Chinese, only this time the shouting was coming from someone in pain. The jet is secured, Erica reported calmly, as though she had just bought a quart of milk, rather than defeating someone in hand-to-hand combat. The jet is secure, I replied to our team. Across the tarmac, Shang's guards finally caught Jessica. She didn't give up the fight, though, writhing and kicking at them. Cyrus flipped on the helicopter's loudspeaker system and addressed Liu Shang through it. It's over, Shang. We have commandeered your jet. You're not going anywhere until that bomb is defused. And the longer you stall us, the less time there is to do that. So tell your men to stand down. Shang turned back toward his jet, who dropped their guns and raised their hands. Cyrus brought the helicopter down beside them and killed the engines. The roar of the rotors dropped to a soft whine as they slowed to a stop. Nice work, Mike told me. You're pretty good at this spy thing. Thanks, I said. Cyrus hopped out onto the tarmac and signaled for the rest of us to follow him. Zoe, Warren, go pick up those guns, he ordered. Yes, sir, Zoe saluted, and with Warren's help collected all the guns from the ground, scurrying around Shang's guards. Meanwhile, Cyrus approached Liu Shang, who now became nervous and fidgety. I need to know exactly where the bomb is, Cyrus demanded. It won't help, Shang whined. It's too hard to get to, and there's no way to defuse it. Let me be the judge of that, Cyrus told him. Hold on, Warren said worriedly. There's no shutoff switch on it. Why would I put a shutoff switch on a nuclear bomb? Shang asked. So you could shut it off, Warren yelped, in case of emergencies, so when something like this happens, we don't all die? We don't have to die, Shang said. We can save ourselves if we leave now. We can all take the jet and get far enough away in the time we have left. How much time is left? Cyrus asked. I'm not quite sure, Shang admitted. You're not sure? Warren wailed. You mean it could go off any second? No, Shang told him. I have more time than that. I'm just not sure exactly how much. Dane Bramage set the timer, and I haven't heard from him in a while. You might not hear from him at all, so he said. Ben kind of sank him in a frozen river. Shang seemed surprisingly unmoved by this. Well, I guess that leaves more room on the jet. I told Dane to give us until around 3 o'clock. That's less than a half an hour, Mike exclaimed. I know. Jessica had stopped fighting the guards by now. The gravity of the situation had sunk in. Liu Shang gave her an angry glare. This is all your fault, he said. My fault, Jessica replied tartly. I'm not the one who put a nuclear bomb in the mountains without an off switch. Zoe and Warren had now returned to Cyrus's side, their arms full of guns. Bomb on a mountain near the climax mine. What's the exact location? Cyrus demanded. Latitude, longitude would be nice. Shang grew a little embarrassed at this point. I don't know that. Dane might, but you killed him. He looked at me accusingly as he said this, like I screwed up somehow. It was self-defense, I pointed out, and for all we know, he still might not be dead. So, all you know is that a bomb is on a mountain. Warren asked Shang, in a wide-eyed with panic. That's not helpful at all. There's like a million mountains around here. Cyrus glared at Warren. You're not helping things. I think I might know how to narrow the search down, I said. The heli-skiing company's copters have GPS tracking systems in them. They're accurate down to a foot. What time did Dane drop the bomb? Around 9:30 this morning, Leo replied. He commandeered the helicopter. Jessica turned to Zoe and said, I just want you to know I had nothing to do with this. I didn't even know my father was ever had people killed. I am so embarrassed. That's the helicopter Erica blew up, I continued. Epic Heli-skiing ought to have detailed information about where it was at exactly 9:30 this morning. We could use that to get a better bead on the bomb. Good thinking, Cyrus said to me. He pointed to Alexander and told him, call him right now. Yes, sir, to make the call. Cyrus then returned his attention to Shang. What's the make and model of this bomb? It's a Soviet Stalin-class X-43 fusion model. Cyrus whistled through his teeth. Is that bad? Mike asked. The X-43 over from the Cold War, probably pilfered from some stolen nuclear missile. It's not very easy to defuse. Then let's forget about it and just get out of here, Shang cried. Fighting with him, Warren mellowed. I'm just saying he has a valid point. Cyrus turned his attention to Mike. I'm going out on a limb here and assume that since Ben says we can trust you, that means we can trust you. You can trust me, Mike agreed. Good, Cyrus replied. I want you to stay here with Zoe and Warren and hold these men prisoner and keep an eye on Jessica until the police get here. I'll leave Woodchuck to help. He should be much more useful once he warms up a bit more. Sure thing, Mike said. Although if you need me to help defuse a bomb, I'm happy to do it. Cyrus gave him a slight smile, like he was impressed. That won't be necessary. You've done enough service as it is. Ben, Erica, Alexander, and I can handle it, though. I turned to Cyrus, startled that he named me. Alexander seemed equally caught by surprise. He nearly dropped his phone in shock. Really, Dad? You think I can help? Maybe, Cyrus said, and started back toward the helicopter. That single word lifted Alexander's spirits like nothing I had ever seen. He was beaming like a kid who had just received a bicycle for Christmas. All right, let's do this. He raced back toward the copter and hopped into it. This is crazy, Shang yelled. It won't work. You're going to die because of your foolish. We're going to die because of your foolishness. He started after Cyrus, but Zoe stepped into his path, aiming one of his own guns at him. Take one more step and say one more word, and I'll shoot you, she warned. Get out of my way, you little brat, Shang ordered, and then tried to step past her. Zoe shot him, only in the foot. Shang howled in pain, hopped around, clutching his foot in his hands and whimpering. To my surprise, Jessica didn't seem too upset by this. In fact, she kind of looked pleased by it. I only took off the last knuckle on your little toe, Zoe informed him. You won't miss it. But try anything else, I might aim higher next time. Then she leveled all the guards with a gaze that made her look just as scary as Erica could be. That goes for all of you. Anybody else want to call my bluff? The guards all shook their heads and backed away from her respectfully. Good, now sit down. The guards and Shang all sat like a bunch of well-trained golden retrievers. Only Jessica remained standing. She raised her hand politely like a kid in school. Do you have a question? Zoe asked. Yes. Can I say something to Ben? I stopped on my way to the helicopter and turned back to her. I suppose, Zoe replied. Sorry I shot your father. He obviously deserved it, Jessica said, glaring at Leo. Then she turned to me and yelled across the tarmac. I'm sorry about all this. I had no idea what Daddy was planning, I swear. I know it's not your fault, I yelled back at her. Sorry I had to lie to you. I understand why you did it. I hope defusing that bomb is simple as cake. You mean as easy as pie? Yes, that's it. Good luck. Jessica blew me a kiss. Despite the fact that I was pretty much scared out of my wits, this made me feel slightly better. Thanks, I said, and then I turned back to the helicopter. Erica was now standing beside it. Since we had captured Shang's men, she didn't need to hold the jet anymore. She was glaring at Jessica angrily. Mike dropped in beside me. Whoa, he whispered. Looks like someone is jealous. No, she's not, I said, still not ready to believe this. Trust me, Mike said. I know that look. She wants Jessica to back off because she's into you. We arrived at the helicopter. Cyrus had already climbed in and taken the controls. Alexander was still on the phone with Epic Heliskiing. We've got coordinates, he announced this morning, starting at 9:28. Their copter hovered at the same point for 2 minutes and 35 seconds. 39.4102 degrees latitude, 106.2256 degrees longitude. Sounds like our spot, Cyrus agreed, and then fired up the rotors. Erica looked at me expectantly. I turned back to Mike. I had the disturbing feeling this might be the last time I saw him, or any of my friends ever again. Thanks for everything, I said. You've been the best friend I could have ever asked for. Why are you talking all sappy like that? Mike asked. This isn't the end of the world. It could be, I pointed out. Nah, you can handle it. Mike gave me a big confident grin. I could tell that beneath it he was actually really worried, but I appreciated the vote of confidence anyhow. Now go take care of business. Okay, I said, and hopped into the helicopter. Erica followed me in and shut the door behind us. Cyrus lifted off before we even strapped into our seats. I looked out the window, watching my friends and enemies drop away beneath us. All of them were looking toward us with a mixture of hope and fear, wondering if we'd be able to save the day. I wondered that myself. Cyrus pulled on the stick, and we banked toward the mountains, heading straight for a live nuclear bomb. All right, I'm going to stop there, gentlemen. Leave you on that cliffhanger. I think tomorrow we will actually finish the book, actually. And we will need to vote on a new one. So, I want you guys to think about what book you want me to read next. I still have 3 of the other books that I brought from the room. Still got Holes. I have Space Case, also written by Stuart Gibbs, the writer of the Spy School series. This is the first book in this series. And I also have the other Stuart Gibbs series from Fun Jungle, the second book in that series, Poached, which is the sequel to Belly Up. So those are 3 of the books that you guys could choose from. I do have 2 others that I dug off of my bookshelf right behind me. I do have The Hunger Games by Susan Collins. If you're familiar with the Hunger Games movie, the first movie, it was based off of this book. This is a pretty good book. I actually think the book is better than the movie, but that's also an option. And I have The Hobbit. The Hobbit's an old favorite of mine, so this could be another choice for you guys. I kind of have a feeling I know which book you guys want to pick next, but I'll post those 4 choices as a message to you families on Dojo. I think I'll try to post on Facebook, and I'll probably more likely put it on Dojo because it's easier. And if you could share with what your student's choice is on there, I'd very much appreciate that. Kind of help me narrow down what the next book will be. So I'm going to sign off now. And like I said, I will post those choices for our next book on Dojo. And hopefully we will make that decision by the end of our stream tomorrow after we finish Spy Ski School. And we can decide what our next book will be for our Read Aloud. I unfortunately don't have any of the other Spy School books here at my home. They are unfortunately back in the classroom. And so far, with our stay safe order from the governor, I am not allowed back into the school building to grab any more materials from the classroom right now. So we will have to wait and see. I am hopeful that at some point they'll let me go back, and then maybe I could pull some more books to give more options. But that's kind of the current situation we're all in. We're kind of ordered that we need to stay put in our homes and just kind of ride things out till our healthcare system gets a handle on the COVID situation. So I will see you guys again tomorrow. I will probably be live again, maybe at 1 o'clock. I have to confer with one of my roommates. They are going to be working from home again tomorrow. So I'll have to see what their work schedule is like tomorrow to see if there's a gap of time that I could go live. So don't hold me to 1 o'clock, but that might be what I will try to shoot for. So I will let you guys know hopefully by tonight after I confer with my roommate to find out what their schedule is like. And I'll let you guys know. That way you guys can set a reminder for yourselves that Mr. G will go live at this time. And like I said, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, share them with me with a message on Dojo, or you can email me at my LISD email address, and I will try to answer the question and address your concern as best as I can. And if I can't, I will then pass it along to someone else at the Haviland team that would be able to answer that question or address that concern. As we are all in this together, we are all trying to help each other out during this time. So I want you guys to stay safe. I want you guys to stay healthy. Know that you guys are not alone in this situation. I know some of you guys are missing talking with your classmates. I am looking into maybe setting something up where we could do like a group video chat, though I've been directed that I cannot use Zoom by the LISD due to safety and security concerns. So I'm kind of looking at alternatives to Zoom. Maybe you families, if you have a platform that you're familiar with, can kind of, maybe educate me a little bit to kind of let me know what are the options out there. I have been looking at Google Hangouts, might be a way that I could do this. So if you guys know of any platform besides Zoom that we could do like a group talk, because I think, with some of you families have said that your student is feeling very anxious, missing their peers, missing their classmates, kind of just wants an opportunity to talk to other people and talk to their peers. I want to try to be able to facilitate something like that, at least before the end of the week, because I think that'll be important to, let her to kind of check in with each other. I would also paper packets with activities and lessons that you could work together with your student at home. And my office hours would be, if you guys get stuck on something, I could help out during that time. I will be posting mini lesson videos through our classroom stories on Dojo. I am also looking into using possibly the Flipgrid video program to kind of help with that too. But that's another platform that I'm looking at too. Flipgrid supporting Class Dojo. I will, of course, still be doing the Read-Alouds here on YouTube because that just seems like this is the best platform to use for that. But all solid information will be coming out over the next few days once things get firmed up. But that's kind of where I'm leaning toward is, online resources, at-home independent study packets, and not everyone's going to be getting the same stuff because all you guys are in different grade levels. I'm servicing, 5th grade all the way up to 7th grade. And there's different needs because not everyone, fits into, the same box of doing everything that's the same. That's just the nature of a special ed classroom. Everyone has a different set of needs. Everyone's working at a different instructional levels. And I'm going to try to meet those needs as best as I can through this distance learning platform. And I know, like I said, patience is going to be key for all of us as we try to navigate this beast as it's new for everybody. So I will see you guys tomorrow. I will post again our book choices in Dojo. And I look forward to hearing responses from families about what you guys want to hear as the next book once we finish Spy Ski School tomorrow. If the last bit is short, I might be able to start the new book if everyone's able to put in their votes today and tomorrow morning. So we'll see what happens. This is Mr. G signing off. Again, stay safe, stay healthy. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Bye.